I've always been a big fan of action RPGs, and there's a new one called Shyness in the Lightning Kingdom now available. But does this game end up successfully slaying its way to the top, or is the battle on this one done before it even starts? Shyness in the Lightning Kingdom is an action RPG that takes a little bit of a different approach when it comes to battles. The battles are held kinda like a fighting game where it's one-on-one between you and an enemy. When one enemy is knocked out, the next one joins the fight until the battle is over. You can switch between your other allies, and enemies can switch out at any moment as well. And it gives the entire experience an arena-like feel to each and every fight. The game takes place in a fantasy setting, no surprise, that has you playing as Shadow, who gets the ability to talk to the Shyness, the spiritual essence of the entire universe. He's flying around in his airship and ends up crashing on a celestial island that happens to be in the midst of a conflict. Slowly but surely, the story starts to unfold and he finds himself a part of everything to do with the different factions and characters in this world. A lot of the game is relatively standard for RPG fare, where you'll be traveling along the world map, solving a little bit of puzzles here and there, talking to citizens, going through dungeons, defeating bosses, and then continuing the story, so on and so forth. There's some side quests that you'll be able to complete along the way, as well as a few other things to keep on the lookout for as you're making your way through each area. What makes this game the most enjoyable, though, is going to be with the battle system. If you can get into it, you're probably going to end up enjoying the game. Here you have a punch and kick button, along with the ability to use magical spells based on the elements that you'll have to recharge during the course of battle, or use items to bring it back. Each element provides different styles of attacks and different moves, and you have to have a certain affinity with each element in order to use those particular moves. You'll also be able to, of course, dodge out of the way of enemies, counter them, and then pull off special maneuvers as you get farther into the game that can be pretty devastating to your opponent if you're able to pull them off. The battle system will seem pretty simplistic at first. It kind of eases your way into the tougher techniques, and you will eventually be thrown to the wolves kinda and have to really start to learn how things work. You won't be able to just mash the square button over and over again in order to obtain victory, at least once you get past the first couple of hours or so. For completing battles, of course, you'll gain experience, being able to level up your characters, along with earning some money that you can then spend, of course, on some new items. A big part of the game also, though, is trading for items. While you're running around, you're going to come across different animals, and if you're able to get close enough to them, you'll be able to catch them and get a certain item. These items can then be traded to the merchants in the game in order to get some of the better equipment items. There's also recipes that you'll be able to concoct later on to use some of these items as well. Equipment is a little bit different. Instead of actually getting a new sword or a new weapon for your character, instead every character is using their fist to attack the enemies. You just get new mastery of different kung fu style arts in order to increase your attack. You'll put on bandanas instead of helmets, and have a whole series of slip-on like shoes and a new belt for defense. It's very simplistic kind of equipment that ends up increasing your stats, but at least it's something a bit different. You'll also be able to set up support skills as you unlock them, so your allies will help you out during the course of fight, whether it be curing you or getting rid of status effects or being able to increase your magic abilities for a period of time. And you can set these individually for each of the characters in your 5-person party. I like the fact you're able to switch on the fly and can load up the different characters with different elements, so that when you make it certain battles and the enemy is obviously weak to a certain type, you can easily switch in that character to use them specifically. The AI, when it came to using the abilities in general, worked for the most part. Usually, if I reached that level where I said, hey, heal me at 50% of my health, they usually would heal me at 50% of my health with no issues. The game has a decent length story that actually was a bit longer than I was expecting, with a lot of story and characters to meet. There's 3 kind of cutscenes in the game, just text-based ones, vocal ones where it's actually the in-game models, and then these kind of comic book cutscenes you'll see from time to time as well. The graphics in the game aren't going to blow anyone away as far as modern standards go. I thought they were quite nice. Definitely reminds me the entire game's feel of a PlayStation 2 era action RPG, which I didn't mind whatsoever. From the technical side of things, while the game didn't crash on me, I did have some other issues. The camera can be a problem. Thankfully, you can always snap the camera directly right behind your character by pressing R3, but it very easily can get in a place where it ends up becoming a problem, and while you're trying to concentrate intensely on a big fight, it may end up getting stuck behind a rock, and you end up having to take your hands off of what you were trying to do and quickly press that R3 button just so that you're able to see, and you may end up missing an opportune time in order to hit a counter or something like that. I also ran into a few glitches, including one where my character kept falling through the ground of the battle, getting permanently stuck, and I had to end up closing the game and restarting it in order to get it going again. I will say also though, the soundtrack is pretty darn good. I like a lot of the music throughout, and a few tracks I wouldn't mind listening to outside of the game for sure. Shyness in the Lightning Kingdom is available now on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, and if you're playing on PS4, it does feature a full trophy list including a platinum, but it will require you not only to beat the game, but beat the game without dying. Overall, you can tell that this game has a lot of love put into it, and I really did enjoy the world and the characters created for it. The story didn't blow me away or anything, but it did get the job done. I'm also a little bit, though, hit or miss on the actual battle system. It's not going to be for everyone, that's for sure, and I found at times it being a bit monotonous, especially after I kind of started to master better maneuvers, powering up my characters, and being able to get the counter system really down. Some fights, especially the random ones, were a breeze. Though, the boss fights would definitely put up a challenge still. While they give you that freedom for the camera, I still feel like it shouldn't have had the issues it did during certain key moments of battles, and a couple of the other glitches I ran into were a bit annoying. So with everything said though, I'm going to be giving Shyness in the Lightning Kingdom a 7 out of 10. But anyway guys, that's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course I hope you enjoyed.